Hi, everyone. This is Yehuda Shamroth, Wellness Wednesdays live on Facebook, pre-recorded for you to watch later on YouTube if you like. We've been doing this series of all different health and wellness topics for about a year now. Sometimes I speak by myself on a pointed topic that people want to learn about. As a nurse and as a Chinese medicine practitioner, I feel like I can go through all the mountains of information on the internet and try to boil it down to its essence, and also get rid of a lot of the misinformation and try to give it over in a very meaningful and interesting way, I hope. I had 100 people saw me last week, so that's kind of nice. I work with RBS Acupuncture, and I will be putting all those details if anybody's interested in my website, my Facebook page, RBS Acupuncture. I'm here in Ramat Beit Shemesh, Israel. Today, I'm very, very grateful to have a guest with me. Her name is Chana. I'm going to say your name wrong, Chava, so I'm not going to say it. You're going to say your own last name when I bring her on after I talk a little bit. And she is our health and wellness coach, certified, master's degree, and she's also a holistic chef. So this will be very, very interesting to see her. Let's see if I can figure out my slides here. Okay. All right, let's just go back. Okay. This is not the way I wanted. Okay, I have a few slides from last week, but that's okay with you guys, I guess. Okay, my topic today is how to prepare yourself for the winter and health and wellness. And it's a little bit more of a challenge this year. And then, of course, last year, 2020 was also a lot of fun. Corona and COVID-19 rampant all over the place, and was just all we could do to keep healthy and stay healthy. And so there's so many recommendations floating around about what we should eat and how we should take care of ourselves. So I'm going to go over those recommendations too. The one slide I liked that was very, very important, but it didn't come through. A lot of my technical difficulties today. So if you bear with me, I'll just use the slides that I have and the text that I have. So before I bring on Chava, I really want to talk a little bit about just the basics of keeping yourself healthy during the change of seasons of any kind, but especially as you transition from fall into winter. Chinese medicine has a lot to say about this because of course, everything in Chinese medicine is based on the transitions from season to season. So when I give people herbal prescriptions, what we talked about last week, I tell them, they say, how long should I take these herbs? And for how long will I need these herbs? And I say, look, if you were in China, you would actually be taking herbs every single day of your life. In some communities, they go to their herbalist every day and they get a whole new prescription or a drink to take, a potion, a tea, anything. Every single day it's different depending on the change of weather and the condition of the person and the age of the person. It's really fascinating. So they believe in prevention and they believe in maintenance of health and wellness. Because as we said last week also, what is the best medicine? No medicine. That is the best medicine. But we can't always live by that. So we want to try as best as we can to take good care of ourselves. And I tell almost every person who walks in my door, if you would have only listened to your mother, who told you to go to bed early and get a lot of sleep and drink a lot of water and eat your vegetables, you probably wouldn't get sick. But some of us are predestined for things anyway, so we can't help it. Anyway, what I want to talk about today is what we can do to fight off the common cold. It's back again. It kind of disappeared with Corona because we were all wearing masks very religiously. And people say to me now, are we, is it really valuable to wear a mask? Is it really worthwhile? Does it help against viruses and Corona? And I say, I don't think so. I don't know. But I do know I wore them in the operating room for 30 years. We had a barrier of protection between us and everybody else in the room. So at least we weren't passing around other bacteria unnecessarily. And it provides a barrier so nobody's coughing and sputtering in your face. And when we took off those masks after a whole year of wearing them just about, the common cold basically all but disappeared. It's all coming back again with a vengeance. I know my little granddaughter is a year old and she's been staying home from her kindergarten for, every other week because runny noses and fevers and the kids are passing it around. It's just what happens. The cold is back again, and also the adults as well. So we want to boost our immunity. That's the biggest buzzword I think I've heard in the last 24 months, boosting your immunity. And we know there's a lot of recommendations out there. I'm going to go through those. And we want to just go through a bunch of the foods that you can eat and keep in your kitchen, stuff you already have in your kitchen. And, when you catch a cold anyway, you want to make sure that you just take good care of yourself. It's really the bottom line. It's super simple. There's nothing really rocket science about it. But we do know there are a lot of good remedies out there that would really help you get through a very bad cough or a very bad cold. Now, if you have something like strep throat or your children, please get an antibiotic if you can tolerate them, because living out strep throat can be agonizing, painful, and take a very, very long time to get over. And it can be even more damaging to your heart muscle because the infection will spread to your chest. And people end up with cardiac issues for life, people who were not given them antibiotics. So we do know that antibiotics saves lives. We don't want to overuse them. We had many, many discussions in the past about gastrointestinal health and how it was destroyed, our microbiome, they call it, our natural flora and bacteria that protects us in every part of our body, especially the digestive part, to build our immunity is all but gone because we have really overused antibiotics in our society. So we're really trying, I think even doctors are really trying now to get a handle on that. We try not to, run to antibiotics, thank God. And we know they don't help the common cold anyway. Antibiotics are completely useless in the face of a virus. Okay, so that doesn't work. So you're just getting yourself, your body used to a medication that it doesn't even use. It is not even useful at that time. So when you catch a cold, you want to relieve the symptoms. You want to take care of yourself. You want to keep very well hydrated. Okay, and there are some really nice herbal remedies out there that I'm going to go through a few. You already have them in your house, I'm sure. My son even contacted me last night and he was coughing. I said, he lives in New York. And I said, what's going on? He said, I just feel miserable. I have a cold. I just can't, whatever. I said, here's what you do. Do you have garlic in the house? Do you have ginger in the house? Do you have teas in the house? Yeah, he had all that stuff. So he took care of himself. And I said, you will find very soon you'll feel better with it. And rest. For me, I have a very good constitution. We talked about that last week. What is a good constitution? I was born with a lot of good health. I was so blessed that I really rarely get sick. And I am 63 years old. I'm not on any medications and no high blood pressure and a little overweight. But other than that, I'm really doing well. And thank goodness. And I have to take care of myself, obviously, but I don't have to run to doctors frequently and things like that. So if you have a good constitution like me, you can keep hydrated. Water, juice, clear broth, more water, lemon water, honey, everything, even caffeinated drinks can loosen up everything in your system. You want to wash away all the toxins in your body. You want to wash away all the, break up the phlegm. And it can really, if you hate dehydration, it's the worst thing for a cold, truthfully. So you want to rest. And when I have a cold, I can just go to bed for about 12 hours and I feel great the next day after drinking a lot of fluids and resting. So not everybody can bounce back like that. Children usually can, unless they keep getting exposed like they do in schools. But the truth is, rest and fluids, vitamins, all that stuff, really, there's nothing like it. It's just real simple stuff. You want to combat the stuffiness and everything else. You want to sometimes you want to inhale. I have beautiful natural oils, essential oils, peppermints and eucalyptus and things like that. You could put a little pot of boiling water and a few drops of a peppermint oil and eucalyptus oil. Put your face just like your grandmother did and steam your face, and it opens up everything and it helps with sore throats too. So when we relieve the pain, but be very careful about medications because over medicating is not going to help you. You want to really try to get to the root cause, which is usually a vitamin deficiency or dehydration or just a virus that hit. You have to wait it out. So you don't want to get too involved with just over medicating yourself, because even these decongestants and things, your body gets used to it and it doesn't do any good anymore. And you don't want to give a lot of that stuff to children. So we don't want to do, over the counter stuff. It's great. It's there for us. But if you want to try to go natural first, I'm here to tell you that in my early days, I would always go to over the counter everything. And then if that didn't work, I would try something natural like honey or garlic or something like that for my sore throat and my cold. And now I do the opposite. This is being honest with you. I feel like I wish I knew this 20 years ago, but my eyes were not opened up to this stuff until maybe 10 years ago. I was always healthy as a nurse. I always made soups and always made sure my children ate vegetables and fresh foods. I was raised in a very healthy home too, with good foods every night for dinner. However, we always had junk food also. We had stuff with lots of preservatives, lots of packages of everything, and we didn't really think too much was wrong with that. But for sure now we know processed foods is really pretty damaging to our systems. It's hard to metabolize out of your system. It makes people overweight and tired, and the cravings that it sets up for salt and sugar, it's just terrible. So we do know now that whatever shape we start out in, if we have a virus like coronavirus or any of the SARS viruses that come along, we know we can fight it off better if we start off in a healthier condition to begin with. So I don't have a couple slides that I'm really wishing I had. Let me see if I can screen share a second. And I've got 2 different computers going. 3 screens, 2 computers. Don't ask, as they say. Don't ask. I went on an errand today that I shouldn't have done. Okay. Should not have done that. Okay, let's see if I can figure out. Yeah, these are from last week. I'm going to try to go back. Go back. Here we are. I'm going to go back to the beginning. Okay, first of all, I want to just talk about some of the, okay, I have to do the same as last week. Some of the recommendations that are out there, sometimes it can be a little confusing. I want you to know I've done a lot of research on whether or not we do need vitamin A, B, C, D, zinc, magnesium, all that stuff. We actually do. And our bodies need all these minerals and vitamins every day. And you will look at the studies from Harvard, and you will look at the studies like I did from WebMD or any of those places, and they'll say there's no significant evidence that taking vitamin D or magnesium or zinc or any of these things is really helping people survive coronavirus or other viruses better. Well, the truth is they're kind of obligated to say this. And I don't know why that is. I'm part of the medical field in the community for over 30 years, and I don't want to criticize anybody or any big body of people, but I can just tell you that in the years that I've become more aware of alternative practices in healing, I realize they either say something like this out of corruption, maybe, or maybe some kind of institutional bias. I really don't know. I don't understand why the medical community is the first to condemn before they actually do studies. And they do studies, and they say there's no evidence that zinc, supplements and vitamin D supplements are going to help you survive illnesses or colds, especially colds and corona. And then, but the evidence is such that they say that, well, people who didn't do well with corona, for instance, in intensive care studies, those who had very low levels of vitamin D and vitamins C and zinc did very poorly, where those who had very high levels of vitamin D and vitamin C and zinc did great. So, or they survived better or survived at all. So, they're not saying the same thing. I don't know what's holding them back from making these recommendations. It's really unfortunate, but we do know we can take care of ourselves. You want to listen to your physician. I did a whole series on that. A whole webinar. We talked to a wonderful physician, and you want to trust him. You don't want to, or her, you don't want to second guess them or boss them around. You want them to really look after your best interest, but try to pick somebody who really thinks like you, okay? And someone who understands there's more out there than just surgery and medicines and surgery. So I don't have my original prophylaxis protocol because it just disappeared on me, but this is the more next step, higher level protocol. We do know the average protocol for just plain old taking care of yourself every day, because we don't get the same vitamins and minerals and nutrients out of food that we used to. And there's a lot of additives, and there's, unless you're eating organic, you're probably not getting always the healthiest food, even if it's right from the grocery store. We know they do have pesticide, but who knows? Whatever's going on in our foods, we want to take good care of ourselves and get us, protect ourselves as best as possible from the common cold, even and flus, and especially things like corona. So if you're a low risk person, this is what they're saying. This is pretty much universal, and you can see some variation. So don't quote me on exactly, but the first thing is not on this slide, but I'd like to say is that it's been recommended to me by many physicians and alternative practitioners. A good multivitamin is really crucial. Take a good multivitamin for your age group, and you can go to your trusted pharmacy and pick out the one that's good for you. You also want to go on a very good probiotic, because keeping your gastrointestinal health up to date and up to par is the key to being healthy for everything. I have so many patients that come to me. I say this every week like a broken record. Their migraines would go away, and their insomnia would go away, and their back problems even might go away if they had better digestive health. I just feel like digestion, it all starts there. So if you're going to take all these supplements too, you have to have a good digestion in order to absorb the stuff, right? Okay. Low risk people are less than 45 years old with no comorbidities, which means you don't have any high blood pressure. You're not obese. Obesity is a big link to getting sick. Obesity is a huge risk factor for not only contracting coronavirus, but also not doing well from it, not surviving it. So I have a friend whose husband was in the hospital for 2 months. This is not just one story. I've heard this over and over. And he's a young guy. He's 40, but he's obese, and he's been in the hospital. He's out now, but his lungs practically collapsed. It was really scary for a while. So zinc, 25 milligrams a day. Vitamin C, 250 to 500 milligrams a day. There's a supplement called quercetin, which is a big anti-inflammatory, and it comes in natural form. You can eat all the red-colored foods, and you'll get quercetin naturally. But if you want to add to it, take the quercetin 250 milligrams a day. I'm not looking at the other one because I'm not familiar with discussing that. If you're moderate to high risk, if you're more than 45 years old, you'll go to the bottom of the screen. They'll increase the zinc, increase the vitamin C, increase the vitamin D. And if you really need, you can go on these medications that you may or may not get a hold of, like hydroxychloroquine and ivermectin. I think we do have ivermectin now more available in Israel. I don't know about the States, but there are recommendations. You can contact me separately if you'd like to discuss what would be good for you. So we know vitamin D, and if we're going to move to foods, we're talking about foods. So vitamin D, they're still finding that vitamin D is like the strongest thing that would really help people get over their, it really boosts the immune system in addition to helping us build the strong bones and skin and hair and teeth. It really helps us with our mood, with our fatigue, helps lower your risk for osteoporosis. So it's very important for your heart and your blood vessels now, too. They say they're doing much more research. So, but for our purposes today, the immune system is built very much on vitamin D. So if you can't take the supplements, please eat all these foods, incorporate them in a healthy way. Your salmon, egg yolks, oysters, we don't do that in the Jewish world, but there are non-Jewish people watching. Mushrooms, cod liver oil, and shrimp, we don't eat either, but canned tuna, and all kinds of, any kind of milk that has fortified. I'm not a person to say you should drink milk or not. That's maybe I think I should do a webinar on that because it's a very interesting topic. Okay, so I'm not going to go through every single vitamin. I've done that on previous webinars. So, but you know that vitamin C and zinc and vitamin D, all these things are very key players in building immune system. So we want to make sure that you take those in every single day, whether if it's in a supplement form or by your food. And we all know that vitamin C is in all these citrus juices. Vitamin D are in these foods. Zinc you can find in all kinds of nuts and seeds and things. And I think that Chava will have a lot more information about that than me. And so we just want to make sure that we do our best to take the supplements. We actually need them. And when I was growing up in the 1970s, 80s, 90s, we didn't really need supplements so much. And you couldn't even trust them because you didn't know what you were getting. But now they're under much more stricter control. We talked about that under the supplement webinar and how they are not under the FDA, but they are under agencies now who have to test all the batches and make sure that you are getting 200 milligrams of vitamin C in a pill or whatever the case may be, and not some kind of a sawdust powder or something. We really didn't know in the older days, but now we are very much more confident. Okay, let's move on to healing foods. Herbal stuff. How are we going to bust those colds? Okay. Another thing I forgot to mention is you can soak in a bath of Epsom salts. Epsom salts is something you can buy in every country. And you can add lemon balm, which is called Melissa also. And you can really relax it. Relaxing the muscles helps actually the blood flow better through them. And if you're hydrating well, you can wash a lot of that stuff right out of your system. Okay. I want to talk a little bit about some of the healing items you might even have in your own kitchen. Cayenne pepper, garlic, ginger, and mint. You might have hyssop, you might have lemon balm, and you for sure have honey in your house. So just a little bit about each one of these because I want to get Chava on very soon. Cayenne pepper, it's really good. It's very antiviral. Okay, it's very great to treat. It's great for treating viral infections, and you can even just boil a little bit of a hot chili or get some hot drop sauce and put it in your tea, and it helps burn out the stuff. Basically, it's very antiviral. So cayenne pepper actually makes you sweat things out too, which is a very good natural way of getting rid of toxins in your body. The next thing is echinacea. Echinacea we talked about last week. It probably is not in your kitchen, but you can buy it very readily. You can get the herbal form of it, or you can buy the fresh herbal form or capsules or whatever. You can take this frequently. You can take it as a bit of a preventative. It's probably the best herb you can have in your house for preventing colds and flus. And it doesn't really kill germs, but it does stimulate the production of white blood cells that does kill the germs. So you're not taking this because it's antiviral, but the way it helps you build your immunity is it's letting your own body build white blood cells. So that's very, very nice to have in your house. The next thing is elderberry. I don't have a picture of that, but elderberry is also called sambucus, and elderberry is a berry on a tree, and it's been used for centuries to treat colds and flu. And we know that it helps replicate. It helps prevent the germs from replicating in your body. So that's how it arrests the advancement of a cold or a flu, and it's very good, especially for lung health. So you can do it as an infusion, you can do a tea, you can do a pill, You can do all kinds of different things. Okay, ginger and garlic are my favorite things to talk about because we have them in our kitchen all the time. So ginger, very good for an upset stomach, obviously, and we did this is our slide from last week, helps with digestion, nausea, it controls blood sugar levels, it fights inflammation, which is why we take it for colds. Okay, it also can tonify all the lungs and the spleen and the large intestine. And it's been studied that ginger has what they call bronchodilating effect on asthmatic patients. So it means opens up the bronchioles and helps them breathe better. So ginger is good if you have asthma. Okay. Next thing we'll talk about is garlic. And garlic is sometimes it's called a truly natural antibiotic. And it really kills a lot of foreign bacteria in your body. And it's very successful in combating respiratory illnesses. And it's best when you take it fresh, but you can take it in pill form if you like. I know some people that take way too much of it. They take so much garlic that they smell it because it comes out of the sweat in your body. But this is what I told my son to do last night. I told him to chop up garlic and put it on a whole tablespoon of chopped garlic fresh, and then pour some very good natural honey over that and take 2 tablespoons. It's really kind of burns you a little bit as it goes down. But I said, do that twice today and twice tomorrow and get a good night's sleep and drink tea. And you're going to feel a whole lot better. So I'm waiting to hear from him today. He's 8 hours behind me, so I'll have to wait till tonight to hear. But I'm pretty sure he's also a very young, healthy person, so he should be able to bounce back pretty quickly. So garlic is natural antibiotic. It fights respiratory infections, reduces blood pressure, treats fungus, balances your cholesterol, and has all these compounds in it that are like if you do an analysis of the garlic molecules, these are all the supportive compounds that it's called allicin is the most, it sounds like the name allicin. It's the one that hinders the reproduction of viruses and bacteria. So that's why garlic is so cool. Okay, we want to talk about lung health. I just did a blog on lung health. I won't go through that because if you want to join my my blog group, I will tell you all about the best foods for lung health. And of course includes garlic and ginger in that, and a lot of water for hydration. Broccoli has a lot of antioxidants and all the green foods. Walnuts also. Nuts in Chinese medicine, nuts have an affinity for the lungs for healing, and they really support lung health. And you got to be careful is that they're not, moldy or anything like that, because mold is very bad for colds and flus. But you can be sure that eating walnuts in particular are very, very good for not only brain health but lung health. So, and apples, all the fruits and vegetables, because they hydrate you very well. There's other things too that other fruits that are not here, like pear juice is very good. Pineapple juice. It's got enzymes in it called bromelain that help you very good for allergies and asthma. So all these natural things are so fantastic for us. And like I said, it used to be the opposite, to reach for over the counter first and then natural. But now I do the other for many years now, thank God. I do the natural first. And if I really need a medication, I'm going to go get it. I'm not going to make myself suffer. But look how much we can do for ourselves without reaching for the over the counters. Okay, we can drink teas and we can eat soups. So what we're going to talk about with Chava very soon. And I was going to talk about honey. Honey is also bacterial antibiotic. And you can put passion fruit, you can put ginger in tea, you can make garlic tea, even cinnamon tea, lemon balm tea. You can make the honey spicy with the cayenne pepper. You can do so many different things with teas. And with soups, chicken soup is what we eat every single Friday night, just about, unless you're vegetarian in the Jewish world. And it's got a lot of medicinal properties. It's really amazing. So chicken soup is a great thing to live on every single day if you're sick. And my favorite soup that I like to make for my patients, and I like to make for people who have digestive problems, is called bone broth soup. And I will provide a recipe for anybody who wants it because I make it regularly in the crock pot. And I'll just tell you briefly what I do. I don't have any slides for that. But you buy the bones, the beef bones, the circular beef bones. And I also will add turkey necks to give it some flavor and put a whole bunch of those bones and turkey necks into a crock pot. Fill it way up with an 8-quart crock pot and fill it up with water. And I save vegetables. When I cook, I save vegetables that are like the cutoffs from when I'm cooking. So I will put the ends of the carrots or the ends of the potatoes, or not the peels or anything, but anything that's not that good to save, anything parsley that's going old, onions that you're not using. So put everything in a Ziploc bag and I throw it in the freezer for when I'm making this bone broth soup. And you fill it up and you put some vinegar in it too. And put about 2 tablespoons of vinegar because it helps extract the minerals and vitamins out of the bones. And you put the crock pot on high for like an hour or two, and then on low for 24 hours. And what you have left is bones that have absolutely no nutritional value at all. But the soup has all the nutritional value you could ever want, and it's very healing. I have to scrape when I take the bones out, and I take all the leftover plant stuff or the vegetables out too. What I do is I scrape off. I let it cool down a little bit, and I scrape off. Sorry, I scrape off the fat because it's just too much. But fat is very healing, by the way, but it just is too much for me. So I scrape off the fat, and then I put them in containers. And voila, you've got this very nourishing, most amazing soup that I tell people if they're trying to correct their digestion or get over colds, or if they're undergoing chemotherapy, or if they're just postpartum. Anybody who's in a weakened state after surgery, you can drink a cup or two of this broth a day, and it will really perk you up. It will heal your internal digestion very, very well, and it will just it has so many vitamins and minerals. It's just unbelievable. You can really you can heal a lot of levels from that. So without further ado, I'm going to go to my guest speaker, and I'm going to let her give her own bio because I like when people do that themselves. Okay, so I'm going to pull her on the screen here. I'm sorry to keep you waiting so long, Chava. All right, let me get rid of my screen share, and we'll be ready to go. This is Chava. She's beautiful, and she's a holistic chef, and she's a master's degree certified wellness coach. I'm going to let her give her own bio. Hi, Chava. I'm going to take you off of mute. Oh, where are you? Hold on. I'm going to unmute you. There you are. Welcome from Jerusalem. This is Chava Lilove. Did I say your name right?
Yeah, you sure did.
Well, thank you so much for putting up with my spiel in the beginning. And I want you to add to and correct anything you want to. And I want you to share your favorite wellness recipes with us. And also any good tips you want to give us for winter wellness. We're ready for you.
Yeah, well, thank you for having me. We've been talking about this for a long time, so I'm glad I'm finally here. And, a lot of the things you said were really important. And one of the things, do you hear me okay?
Yeah.
You hear me fine? Okay. And just wanted to check the sound. So there are many assets to health. Food is one part of it. It's actually a great part of it. And as a, wellness coach, the methodologies we learn is really to help people implement these things. Because let's say somebody's not eating healthy, and all of a sudden, they can become very overwhelmed. Like, oh my gosh, I have to now add, ginger and garlic. I used to use garlic powder, but I still drink. What am I going to do? So we try to really hone in on our priorities so we can nurture ourselves, but we can do it in steps. So some people might take like baby steps to just start gradually adding some healthy things to their lives, some healthy recipes, some healthy foods. And since basically we talked about a lot of these foods and the nutritional value, I wanted to say, first of all, one of the things, and especially at our age, that's so important, the foundation of health is sleep. So if you're not getting a good enough sleep, then your body is not doing its work, because sleep helps, release toxins. It helps with brain health, your digestion, everything. So it really replenishes your organs. So if anybody is not sleeping well, sometimes it can be more difficult as you get older. So, but there's so many things to do. There's, like Yehuda's mentioned, there's also a lot of nice essential oils and lavender and many, many different things and teas you can take. So, if you have any questions, you can always ask Yehudas or me. I love to research, always learning a lot about that. But as far as food goes, so my philosophy is that your food is your medicine, and food is number one. Okay. You can have all the nice supplements you want, but if you're not eating healthy, if you're not eating, foods, natural foods, and I'm not saying you have to go strictly organic but try to get the freshest foods, try to at least get foods that are less pesticides, not have maybe the dirty dozen, but incorporate these foods. And the way you do that, okay, there's actually steps to do that, because it's hard when when your refrigerator is full of all these processed foods and frozen foods and junk, one thing we really need to do is educate ourselves. So we need to start reading labels to see what are in these foods, and foods that we might think that are so healthy, like, oh, I'm just buying a yogurt, it's got probiotic. Then you turn it around and you read it, and it's got guar gum and sugar and syrup and cane sugar, or even worse, corn syrup, and it's not healthy. So you want to try to get food in the purest form, but you want to also learn about it and then decide how you want your life, how you want your kitchen. So what I tell people is, you really want to eat foods that you like and that agree with you and that you feel good with. Okay. So some people might want hot oatmeal for breakfast. Other people might feel lethargic after a carbohydrate or a toast. So they might want to have protein. So everybody's got to figure out what's good for them. Do you have to have a smoothie every morning and put all these? No, but if you want it once in a while, so everybody can figure out gradually, what makes them feel good. When do they need to eat? So that's one of the things. So figuring out what types of food you like. So I say the first step is to decide what you and your family want to eat, how far you want to go, in the spectrum of really eating clean and healthy, because we're all human beings and we like to eat all sorts of foods, and nothing's wrong with that. You can have your chocolate, or you can make healthy brownies for Shabbat, or you can make healthier desserts, because we all have sweet tooths. We all have, different cravings, which sometimes is telling your body, we need these types of foods. So the more we
I
can
had a
listen
friend
to
come
our
over on
body.
Shabbos who on
Yeah.
Sabbath we eat a lot of foods together, and she brought over these cookies that were oatmeal and I think they were almond flour, and they were she had let's see, she had no sugar at all in them. I don't even know what was in it, but she just I was so she had tahina instead of oil. It's like I mean I didn't really have to live without any of those things, but it was just so nice that everybody loved them, and they were gone.
Right.
It was such a great
Right.
substitution
And
to think
tahina is
about
excellent.
what you're cooking.
Tahina is excellent for cookies just because it's got the fat, so you don't need to add oil, and it's got the calcium, sesame seeds. So that's a really nice thing. People that are used to doing cake, so they're going to say, well, how can I give up my cake? But you can actually use applesauce instead of oil, and it makes it nice and rich. So there's a lot of ways you can do. You can make a crust with dried fruit and nuts. You can make a beautiful crust that you lie down, and there's just so many possibilities. There's cashews that you soak and you make these beautiful cream pies, banana pies. There's so many. And when you think on an idea, what I do, I don't use recipes per se, but I always, when I go out or learn things from other people or travel, I love traveling the world to many different cultures and seeing what they eat. And I was fortunate to have a mother-in-law who was an amazing cook that taught me a lot of Sephardic recipes. So I love incorporating all of that. But what I was going to say is really getting an idea of, what are the foods that you and your family enjoy. If you don't like kale, you don't have to eat kale. There's so many choices. It's just exploring these choices. So the first thing I would do is visit your favorite market, explore, where do you like to shop? Where do you like your produce? Do you order it? There's all these companies where you can get it delivered. Do you like to go yourself and pick it out? Find out locally where you can, find the best types of foods, fruits, vegetables. I go to a health food store because I enjoy picking out myself. And here in Yerushalayim, they have Dudavan Nitzan, which I love. And but there's many other ways. Even the Super Soul in Israel, the Super Soul deals have organic foods, fruits, and vegetables. So wherever is good for you. But
Organic? They
what?
have organic there?
Yeah, they have organic. They have organic milk and eggs. They have a lot of products. The big stores have more. So you'd be surprised. A lot of people say it's hard and it's expensive. You don't even have to spend a lot of money, because we were talking also about soups. Soups can be very reasonable, but I would say the first thing is you want to check out what you have in your fridge and do an assessment and look and see if you have, high sugar, high cholesterol, and you're using this, special teriyaki sauce on all your vegetables every night, and it's loaded with sugar and it's loaded with all these additives. You'd be surprised. A lot of them you can't pronounce. You really want to say, do I really want to put this in my body? So you really want to go through and what I call cupboard clean out, and just take a garbage can or try not to buy it again and really see, can I live without this? Or maybe I can do something more natural. There's so many beautiful sauces and things you can use, to really get your food the way you want it. Not everybody wants to eat spicy foods, or so you can really use herbs. You can use lemon, like you said, garlic, uh, olive oil, the nice grated, salt and pepper. And in Israel, you go to the market, there's hundreds of beautiful fresh spices, and every spice has something that it contributes. Like you said, cayenne pepper, great for digestion. Paprika, it has vitamin C. So all of these things, curcum, it's anti-carcinogenic. So all these spices you can incorporate are really going to add to your health, and also, like you were also saying, herbs. So there's so many things, but you want to take it step by step. You don't want to overwhelm yourself. So what I like to tell people is, like, make a shopping list. Okay. Make a shopping list of the foods that you love. Okay. Do you like sweet potato? Do you like squash? Some of the warming foods we were talking about uh, are, lentils and meats. I try to get meats without antibiotics. And bananas a warming food. So for the winter,
Ask you where
maybe
you
you want
get your
some of the
meats
root.
here. I'm sorry to
Where do
interrupt
I
because
get?
I love hearing you. I
No,
want to
it's
know.
fine.
Ask me often, where do they get their where can they go to organic meats where they don't have to order a lot in bulk so that they have to pay for delivery and all? Do you know a
Right.
place? Can you write it or tell me
Yeah,
that?
I actually do. So when I buy chicken, there's Artsenu,
Yeah, that's
dot
one place
co
that
dot
they
il.
make.
So
Yeah, that's great, but they make you order a lot for delivery. That's the thing.
right,
They
you
have,
can do it with several friends. I
yeah,
buy the chicken
that's
at
not recommended.
Dudavan Nitsan. I get the chicken,
Okay,
and
that's
I try to eat a lot of fresh fish and only eat meat maybe once a week. But I
mm-hmm.
do one thing I do love, and I do shuk shopping. I do shuk tours. If you're ever interested, I'd love to take people through the shuk and show them. But I do get the fresh bone marrow, and I do make that beautiful bone marrow soup, and it's so easy to make, and it's so healthy. You were saying, you can put the root vegetables, whatever you have, just throw it in. You can throw your organic carrots whole even. If they're not organic, yeah, you might want to peel them, wash them. You just kind of throw everything in. And one thing that I do put in, I don't, I actually have it in the kitchen, but it's a Vega or Bragg's nutritional yeast. It's full of vitamins. It actually looks like soup powder, and I add it to everything because it's really loaded with a lot of really good stuff. So in America, it's called Bragg's. In Israel, it's called Vega Nush, and you can get it. I know it. Dudavan Nitzan. You might be able to order it on iHerb, and I also advocate iHerb has reasonable herbs for people living in Israel that can't get all these things. So that's something to look at. They also have an app. So once you make your shopping list, then you want to figure out, well, what foods can I make from it? I've got all these sweet potatoes.
Mm-hmm.
What am I going to do with it? Do I want to roast it? Do I want to add it with more? And the sky's the limit. You can do a lot of beautiful dishes. So I like with sweet potato, or if you have diller wreath, which is butternut squash, or you have pumpkin. They have in Israel. We're fortunate to have those huge pumpkins. In the States, did you ever try to peel a pumpkin?
No.
It's like really hard. Yeah, yeah. You have to go to like a special market to get the right kind of pumpkin. But here we have these gorgeous pumpkins, and it's pretty easy to cut it, or you can even buy it cut. And you can put these all together. You can have pumpkin soup. You can have any of the squash soups, sweet potato. And then you can add those healthy things like grated ginger, garlic, cinnamon. Cinnamon is excellent for digestion. It's also a warming food. You can put a little nutmeg. So I personally don't like to have to look at a long recipe. I feel it's overwhelming because most cooks, they look up a recipe book and then they feel overwhelmed, like, oh my God, I have to um, you know start. I'll give you an example. They say you have to do what is it called? Like a fancy, what is that, bouquet with the herbs where you, or the sew the chicken, or you have to have butter and shallots. And so you can use just a few things to make a beautiful dish, and you can experiment. So I would say the first step is write the things down, and then you can actually have those foods in your fridge and have some healthy snacks. Because once you get to know your body, you might think, you know what? I don't want to eat a lot of fruit because I don't want to eat a lot of sugar, but I do get tired. So this is just thinking. I do get tired around 3 or 4 o'clock. I used to drink coffee, but what can pick me up? So maybe that's the time you want to have your fruit. So it's going to raise your blood sugar to keep it steady. Or maybe that's the time you want to make a smoothie. So we got to think, and really get to know our bodies. If our metabolism is slow, think of the foods that are going to speed up your metabolism, thermogenesis. Those are foods, caffeine speeds up your metabolism. It's good to a certain degree. I wouldn't drink caffeine after one, but green tea, there's a lot of natural foods. And probably Yehudis, you know a lot about that, right? How to foods to speed up your metabolism.
Sure, sure. Well, we
Great.
have all the moving and warming herbs for one thing, like the type that you're talking about with the cinnamons and the, the peppers and the turmerics and all that kind of stuff. And those are the things too, by the way. If you're taking all those things, they're also considered blood thinners. So you have to be careful if you're taking a medication that's a blood thinner, because I don't think it makes a real significant difference to everybody, because I've been testing it out on a lot of my patients who are older. And when I give them acupuncture, I want to see if they're bleeding more. And they usually don't. But there's going to be that person who does have a
Yeah.
sensitivity.
If you're taking Wayfarin, yeah, you don't want to, you got to check with your doctor on, because a lot of these herbs are really powerful, like curcum, okay, turmeric is considered a blood thinner. So, maybe you are able to take it, but it's definitely something you want to check with your doctor. Um, it's hard to believe, but when you're having inflammation and I grade fresh turmeric on my potatoes, I use it a lot. I do Moroccan fish. So I try to incorporate as many spices and herbs and greens as I can. For instance, if I'm going to steam a whole fish, there's moringa. You can get it at an Asian store. I love to go to the Asian stores in the States.
Tell us
They
about
have
moringa.
it.
Tell us about moringa. I don't even know that much about it.
Okay, well, moringa is actually it's actually Asian, and it has so many. But
It's
you'll
a
see
pear?
it in Israel,
Is it a pear?
especially.
Is that the Asian pear?
It's a plant. No, no, no. It looks like little leafy. You can even get moringa powder. So
Right.
it
I've
looks
seen it.
like
They take it
little
for
tiny
energy. I
leaves.
know. Yeah.
Right. And basically, what it does is it helps your body. It has 7 times more vitamin C than oranges, 15 times more potassium than bananas. It also has calcium, protein, iron, and amino acids. So it helps promote healing. It can build muscle. Um, so you can think of ways to use it. You can use it in a stir fry. When I steam fish, I like to do with the steamed ginger like they do in Chinatown, peppers and ginger and the moringa, and you can grate turmeric and you just put in a little water. You can add a little wine if you want, and you just cover the whole thing and let it steam in a little tamari sauce. So there's a lot of things that when you come across, you can ask or you can Google. Today, you have all this information. So, you can Google, like, I have high blood pressure. What foods can I have to help me with that? So it's the red color, the beets, the pomegranate, and they have beautiful fresh pomegranates. So it's really taking that effort and making a priority to use foods to heal your body and to feel good. Okay. So, if you're going to have crackers, white crackers and whatever bread, or you say, well, it's the kids, they need all these snacks. So I buy the cookies, and for Shabbat, the grandkids are coming. So I have to, so you really have to decide how you want your home. I'm not saying don't have any of that stuff. When I have 5 kids, thank God they're pretty healthy. I had 5 natural births. They were all breastfed. So I felt that helped them a lot. They didn't ever have any ear infections or any So I would say for young mothers, I would strongly recommend. There's nothing like breastfeeding your child, because it does, Yehuda's, don't you think so? The kids that have been breastfed or have all that
Oh, yeah,
immunity
of
built
course.
up.
Yeah, well, that's absolutely key. They do have studies that say that many studies. My husband's an obstetrician, so he sees it too. Even though he's not in that alternative mindset, he always encourages people to nurse the babies, because your mother's own microbiome and natural flora goes right through to the baby, and a baby who's born by C-section misses out on that opportunity to have the beginning stages of a very, very amazing immunity, and they have to build it on their own, which takes a lot longer, and those babies can get a lot sicker, or they get the cold worse than everyone else. They won't be the sickest babies in the place,
Right.
but they'll be the
But
weak,
so,
the
so what
ones
they
who
do,
take 3 days off instead of 1 day off, from
so what they do now is they actually get the natural, what I would call, what's the name for it? That the probiotics the mother has delivering the baby, they take that, swab that, they put it on the cesarean,
the
uh,
placenta.
placenta, but it's more than the placenta. It's whatever, all that's covered the baby when the baby's coming out
Oh,
vaginally.
yeah, yeah.
They take all that rich
White covering. Yeah, the
protectiveness,
name of it, the white covering. Yeah.
right, and then they could put it on the baby.
Oh,
That's another whole nother subject. Probiotics is a wonderful thing. So one of the things, since we were going to go with warming ourselves, and you talked about soups, and
Not
a
just
great
warming,
meal.
not just warming. We're not just talking warming. We're talking about what you're going to boost your immunity with. That's what the key thing is, to prevention too. Not just warming soups or
Right,
warming.
right, right.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. Vitamin C foods for the winter. Teas are always excellent to have. And the other thing I was going to say, um, you know, in the winter, we kind of tend to want to have more warm foods in the summer. But so the soups are excellent way. It's also a way, that you can stay slim and be full, because, you have all those nutrients, and, you don't have to, it's pretty easy to prepare. I don't personally spend a lot of time in the kitchen. I teach women how to cook 10-15 minute meals. So I would say a very quick way to make soup. Let's say you're just like, I'm hungry. I always keep miso in the house. They have barley miso. They have white miso. White miso comes from
Tell people
Kyoto,
what
Japan.
miso is a soy product, correct?
It's made out of soybeans. Yeah, it was originally found by monks, because they needed a way to store their food. So what's so nice about buying miso, and most of I've seen actually has a good texture, so it's kosher, but you just want to check for sure. But it can last for years in your fridge. But you just, basically you're throwing a lot of vegetables in a pot, and you're spooning your miso, whether it's white or barley miso. They have many different fermented types of miso, and when your vegetables, whether you do zucchini or onions, I like to add seaweed. Seaweed is excellent way to boost minerals in your body. It's easy to prepare. You just take dry seaweed, find it in a bag.
I'm
There's
putting this down on
wakame.
the
There's
sidebar, Chava. I'm going to correct some of these things in the sidebar for people to see. To flavor soups, flavor soups. And tell us again about the amino acids, because people were asking about the Braggs, and what was that exactly? That product you were talking
right.
about.
So the Braggs, there's actually a whole list of Bragg's products, and the person that originally, Paul Bragg, who is one of the earliest American alternative health gurus,
Remember him?
came up with the apple cider vinegar with the mother. So you can get Bragg's apple cider vinegar, and you can get Bragg's mixture of herbs. So his children, he wrote a book, and then children just brought all that down. They have liquid aminos that you can buy. That's a little bit of soy sauce. There's coconut aminos. So I mean, I didn't prepare for it for this.
No, that's fine. Just off the top of your head, there are
Right.
people that have never used these products, and that there's something you're so familiar with that's and I am too. So
Right.
but realize that you don't have to buy soy sauce, and you don't have to buy soup powders. is a very,
Yeah.
like you were saying, take one step at a time.
In
That's
fact,
when you're gonna
in
replace
fact, not
something with
only, yeah,
that thing. Yeah,
not only
right.
do you not want to buy soup powders, soup powders are one of the worst things you can buy. Now they're maybe trying to make them a little healthier, but all these soup powders people have been growing up with and putting in, they can lead to so many diseases. They have excitocins in them. Okay, they can lead. They have hydrolyzed vegetable protein, which is very bad for you. They have monosodium glutamate. They have all this tetrazine, all these horrible things that are carcinogenic, and people were using them for years, and then they're wondering, what's going on. So that's what I'm saying about reading your ingredients. So the Braggs, I use instead of soup powder, and it's packed with protein and vitamins. Um, so it's a substitute for a lot of things. You can really put it in a lot of different things. Um, I'm just reading right here. It has 0 sugar. I think it says 2 teaspoons or 3 carbs, 40 calories. Um, and um, you can sprinkle it on any food. I mean, I put it in even my bone marrow soup because I'm adding all these B vitamins. If you look up nutritional yeast, you can buy it plain nutritional yeast, but nutritional yeast is loaded with um, lots and lots of vitamins. Let's see. I just want to see some of the things. Um, right. So in the States, it's very easy. I know in Whole Foods, they have, all the Bragg's products. Um, and, but you really want to try to make soups. You don't want to rely on cans. You don't want to rely on, back then, I know people that told me, hey, I grew up on Campbell soup, and if you would realize how much sodium, and so we really got to figure out, are we not feeling good? How can I simplify my life and just maybe have some simple foods? What about just cooking simple? And then it doesn't take very long as well,
Well,
you
I
know?
think people think opening up a can of soup is simple, and that's what we have to make a transition in our minds. And I think if I could get you to tell us now what you do for people, and if people were to call you for a consultation, you could help them through this journey of changing their mindset of how they cook and what they consider simple and what they consider difficult. There are a few people that wrote to me. One
Sure.
person has a stroke. She wants to know how she can make her foods taste better again because she doesn't. There's a lot of different ways you can help people. Can you just tell us what you do for people, and how maybe they can connect with you separately so that you could be their health coach.
Okay, so basically, well, when we coach, we actually create a vision. So if your vision is, I want to start eating healthy, and it depends where you're starting from. Some people know how to cook, but maybe their food doesn't taste well. So I really think it's important to enjoy what you eat. I'm so to speak a foodie. I love food, but there's no reason why the two can't go together. Because a lot of people think, oh, I have to eat healthy, so I have to eat stir fry all the time and tofu and all this kind of thing. You can create beautiful dishes. So what I would help you with is we would work together, partner together, and we'd figure out what foods that you like. Okay, we'll look at what foods that you don't want to give up, and we'll really figure out how to incorporate these healthy foods and to take these foods and create healthy dishes with them. Okay, so if you say I don't really make soup, I want 3 really good soups. There's a huge choice. You have red lentils, you have black bean soup, you have the miso, you have the bone
Bone broth,
marrow, you
bone
have
broth.
mushroom, yeah, bone broth, fish soup people make, which is excellent, because you're cooking anything with the bones, you're cooking that, and it's collagen, so it's great for your skin. So you can add all these spices and herbs. I love using things like dill, fresh parsley, cilantro. So I'll help you, use your imagination, and it's going to come from you. You're going to kind of tell me, this is what I'm used to, but I can't, eat this, but I want to graduate to be able to stop drinking all this coffee and start having, more water. So we figure out what your goals are, so I do have people occasionally that say, you know what, I want to eat healthy, make me a meal plan. Just write it out and I'll do it. And I just want to tell those people, It sounds beautiful, right? A dietitian gives you a whole list, eat this so much of chicken and this and that. I have a website that's please don't diet because I don't believe in diets. I believe if you're eating whole foods, healthy foods that are fresh, and you're having those in your kitchen, you're going to end up making wonderful food, and you don't have to use a lot of spices. When you're making salmon, some fresh garlic, a little olive oil, nice salt, some fresh pepper. you know you don't have to be the chef that's been studying and reading books. We can make it very, very simple, and then you won't get overwhelmed. You can make it a plan. You can say, I want to cook on the weekend, so I'll have food every day. So everybody is very individualized on how they see themselves, and that's what we work on together. Because if women are working all day or men are working all day, they come home, they don't want to cook. They're like, you know what, I don't feel like standing up for a half an hour. So that's what we work on. We work on so the foods are ready, and you have some meal prep, and in 5 minutes you can lay out a beautiful dinner, right? You can make a nice salad to bring to work, and you don't have to be standing, over. So we work on these things. We work on and everybody has different foods that they need, more of or to stay away from, allergies. So we can take all that in consideration and customize a plan. So, you know, I'd be willing to do one-on-one. If you have any questions, I offer free consultation. So you can just ask Yehudis, or you can DM me on
Give me your
Facebook.
information now. I'm going to put it in the chat. How can people reach you?
Okay, so I have a website called it's The Confident Cook, Chava Lilove, The Confident Cook. I also am on Instagram, Chava
The
Lilove Wellness.
Cook, that's your website?
The Confident Cook, right? You can even Google me if you can't find me on Facebook, and just, send me a message. I heard you. I really need to change what I'm eating. And it makes sense because, one of the things I've been studying and that I got my master's degree is using all these methodologies, because it's nice to have the information up here. But if you're not incorporating that and changing your habits slowly, okay, that's where it comes in, your muscle memory. So if you're going to the store and you see the bagels and you see the boecas, and automatically you put it in your basket. When you change your habits slowly, you're not going to want those foods anymore. You're going to have that taste of, gosh, I really want the healthy food that I've been having. And you won't have what we call the Yetzer Hara, that inclination to want to grab the sugar and the carbs. It's a journey, it's a process, but it doesn't take that long. So anybody from anywhere can get to where they need to go. It takes a little commitment. It takes putting it as a priority. And I really fully believe women and men need to nurture themselves, take care of themselves. And there's no better time than now at any age to really think about your health.
That's beautiful. And thank you so much for joining us, because I think what I didn't mention, you did in really wonderful ways. So I didn't address the issue of having to make that commitment and having to make yourself a priority and be kind to yourself, because taking care of yourself is being kind to yourself. It goes both ways. People who, I had a father who was of blessed memory, but he really didn't care. You could see that he didn't really care about himself enough to do the things that he had to do. And I always wondered about that. I thought I wasn't so great myself, because I said in my earlier introduction that I have a very good constitution, so I don't have to do as much as the average person. I can still, burn the candle at both ends and still pretty much function okay. It's not a great thing to do, but I can get away with it still. But my father couldn't do all those things, and he didn't seem to care. And I'm like, that's a whole nother session, as to how to want to care, And I think if anybody were to call Chava, she's a loving, wonderful, and amazingly brilliant person. She'll be able to help you and get started on your wellness journey, even if you don't even know you want it yet. So, and with that said, we're gonna wrap it up. And don't forget to take care of yourself for the winter. Prepare yourself. Get a lot of good vitamins in the house, and get a lot of good. If you have to take those supplements, you can contact me and get the right dosages. And don't forget all the wonderful foods you can eat with the great amount of vitamins and minerals, whole foods, like Chava said. Again, if you work towards organic, that's fantastic. But if you don't, you can at least start with whole, fresh foods. And that alone is going to.
And I wanted to offer them, if you have a specific recipe in mind and you're just like, I don't have any idea to do it, text me and I'll help you work on a recipe. So you'll have at least one new soup or one new item. I would be happy to do that. So if you want to do that and you want me to work on something with you, feel free to reach out to me.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining us. I know you're a busy lady, and we
Thank
appreciate
you for having me.
your time. Thank you so much. Lots of love.
Okay.
Everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
See you.
Sweet.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.